您现在收听的是 Coach 可能想知道，我是潘婉如 Effie。这个节目专门为教练所制作，内容包含正在学习教练或是已经是教练的朋友可能关心的事。这一集非常特别，我们邀请到 The Heart of Coaching THOC 的原创者 Thomas Crane 我们称他为 Tom 来跟我们聊聊。那这一集呢，就会是我们这个新的系列组织中的教练的第一集。我想先介绍一下 Tom Tom 呢是他全名是 Thomas Crane 他是 The Heart of Coaching THOC 这本书这个 model 的原创者。那他也是我觉得对我来说他是一位生命中的贵人，也可以说是我的 mentor 我在2013年的时候因为去 San Diego 上他的认证课所以我就展开了这十几年来跟他在他的 coaching 的一个合作的旅程，我是他的合作伙伴。那中文呢，我们翻译为伙伴教练心关系，在大陆翻为伙伴教练Tom 目前已经退休，还是居住在 San Diego 那在访谈中你们也会听到他现在退休后呢在做什么我觉得这是一个很有趣的经验呢，也对我来说是一个很大的启发关于他的退休生活这段访谈呢显然是用英文进行虽然我对于我自己的英文发音这个 accent 不是很满意，但我觉得这个是我需要放下的我觉得重点是能够跟 Tom 对谈，然后把他的过去的经验即便他退休了，我都希望，那他也非常乐意的帮忙我也希望能够尽量的来把我很尊敬的这位长者专业人士他的一些经验能够分享给大家。这段英文的访谈我们会在 podcast 的简介里面附上逐字稿，那这逐字稿是透过 AI 做的翻译我觉得翻得还不错大家可以参考一下。今天会想要访谈 Tom， 当然有一个很重要的重点就是我们这个系列叫组织中的教练那也就是在谈在组织里面我们是怎么去协助去支持组织里面的 leaders 去提升所谓的教练能力，或者是建立教练文化怎么去支持他们在组织里展开教练对话。这里面还包含了 coaching 还有这个 feedback， 就是这个反馈回馈那因为这个方式其实跟我们在外部教练进行一对一教练会谈的时候我们学的这个所谓的 ICF 的核心能力呢是有一些不一样的所以我特别的去开启了另外一个系列，想要来谈谈在组织里的一些教练的成功故事啦，或者是邀请一些内部教练来聊聊，希望大家会喜欢。I'm sorry that I know you have retired for 3 years or 4 years?
About 3.5 or so.
3.5, yeah. And having fun every day, I think. So I'm sorry I dragged you to the real world, to the business world again.
They say that when you retire, you get very busy. It's actually true because there's all kinds of other little projects and things that, parts of your life that maybe you didn't do because you're busy working. Working and traveling like I was. So it's fun to get back into all those things that are of interest to me, and a nice transition, but I have no trouble keeping busy.
Yeah, okay. That means that you're still very energetic, right?
I guess kind of so, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of the retirement, I know that you have picked up the passion of singing and you do some performance regularly in some places.
Music is in one's genes. It's a genetic gift get from your parents. So what I've done is I've rekindled my passion for singing. I've done a number of plays since I got out of college. But then when I got busy as a consultant traveling, it's hard to be in a play and rehearse for 2 weeks and then run for another week or two. So, if you're going to travel and take care of clients, you don't really have the privilege of having the time to do that. So, not that I'm doing plays or productions as an actor, but I am rekindling my love of singing Broadway, show tunes, the Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Michael Bublé these days is a great crooner and brings all these old standards and rekindles them and makes them fresh again. So I'm singing a lot of that kind of music and just really enjoying it a lot.
Wow, that's really kind of role modeling how we can spend our retired life meaningfully.
Yeah. Well, find something that really is exciting to you and you've got passion about and go do that.
This episode will be the kickoff of our new series. We call it Organizational Coach.
Yes.
And I think it makes more sense if we start from your interview, your introduction of the heart of coaching, THOC, because this is something we have. When I say we, means I and other facilitators. It's how we support company organizations to show them how to do the collegial coach in their daily job. As I remember, you started the THOC back in 1993?
Started writing the book in 93 and ended up getting published in 1995. Actually, 98. I started in 95 and it got published in 1998.
Okay. And then you started TTF sometimes in between, right?
Yeah. Just after that, the training facilitator, TTF, what I wanted to do was, since I had been a facilitator and in my previous work as a consulting company doing organizational consulting around culture change, more about that maybe in just a minute. But as I started that work, one of the things we did, Effie, was that we certified employees inside of a company to learn the culture change workshop. It's a 3-day process back then. It's now a 2-day process with that company that still is in business. But we would show them how to facilitate these materials. And you don't have to be, you don't have to have a degree in delivery or speaking, anything like that. You just have to be a human being who is concerned about how we shift our culture, how we understand what leadership is, what a high performance team looks like, and get those things that are of interest to that person. We can show them what to say as they lead a workshop, which is really a discussion with people in the workshop about what they can learn, what they can take away from that. So I got really interested probably in 1999 or 2000, got involved in doing the train the facilitator. I call it, certification, really. And that's how we met way back. I forgot what year it was.
2013.
2013. Oh, okay. About 11 years ago. Okay, 12 years ago. Right. So anyway, I'd been doing that for a few years and we met, and you have been a wonderful facilitator and consultant for this way of interacting in terms of communication inside company for all these years. So you've made a huge difference.
Yeah, thank you. So back to the 1992, 93, what motivated you to invent THOC?
Yeah, well, thank you. It's interesting. I started working for a culture change firm. I didn't mention their name a moment ago. They're still around today. The name is Sen Delaney Leadership Consulting Group. And what they had done is come up with a very, very fine, very effective, very powerful 3-day cultural change learning experience that they would take executives and then their teams as a follow-on through how to understand what leadership is, teamwork. One of the modules, Effie, that we used to teach was on coaching. And it's what today I frame as coaching shorthand, giving appreciative feedback and the constructive feedback framed as a suggestion. That is the only skill they taught when it came to coaching. And as a matter of fact, just before I left the company, in a big company meeting, I asked the chairman of the company, Mr. Sin, I said, what's the difference between coaching and feedback, Larry? And he said, well, they're really kind of the same thing. Well, they're not. Feedback is feedback, and what's happened so far, short history, but it's happened already. That's feedback on what's been experienced, past tense. Coaching is about the future. It's about next steps. Mm-hmm. So it became clear to me that you needed to segment the feedback part of it, a feedback conversation, giving and learning how to receive feedback. And then the coaching part is how you help somebody come up with a plan, what their next steps are, and get committed and excited about it. So coaching and feedback are two very different things. And I became a student of all the coaching processes when I set up my own company in 1995. Because after working with that company about 8 years, I said, this has been great, but I'm kind of restricted by, I have to do things their way and run just their process. And they were rather prescriptive about how that workshop get done. And I said I needed more latitude. There are more things to go deeper on, and you need to walk in with an open agenda and ask the client what's going on, what works, what doesn't, where are your pain points, and how can I help you get better, and have a blank sheet of paper when I walk in there, as opposed to, here, take my program. So the idea was, as we did those workshops and we taught that one course, that one workshop on coaching, giving and receiving appreciative and constructive feedback, it transformed people. It was powerful. I don't take anything away from it. It was very, very helpful for a leader to begin to see themselves as a coach. And then when they began to model that, they became able to now start receiving feedback from the people that they had the privilege of leading. So the light bulbs went off and they said, oh my gosh, aha, not only am I a coach, I need to be coached by people I work with. So it was a huge insight for most leaders we work with. So when I set up my own practice, I did a deep dive on what coaching really is. I rented all the books and the tapes. I bought videotapes and looked at all the books out there. There were probably a dozen books on coaching already. So I did a survey and I curated what I thought was the best set of skills that people who work together, that could be a colleague of mine, so we're peers, it could be my boss, I could be that person's boss. It didn't make any difference. We all work together. So the idea is that people who work together need to learn how to give and receive feedback and act as a coach on helping their coachee, their partner, their colleague, their teammate, really, come up with next steps and do that as a collaboration. So how do you hold collaborative conversations between people who work together that is feedback-based? So that's the thought process I went through to come up with this collegial coaching roadmap on how to have what I called a transformational coaching conversation.
Back to 90s, is it the time when coaching started to be popular?
Yeah.
Right?
About 30 years ago, 35,
right.
40 years ago, it began, came on the scene, and more books were written about it. People began to talk about it. Athletic coaching kind of found its way inside of organizations. The whole idea of becoming a professional coach had been born. As people know, there are wonderful professional coaching organizations that show people how to act as a professional coach. Right. Where you get really good at asking great questions that provoke insight on behalf of your coachee, your client, and help them move their life forward. They get better at leadership, better at teamwork, better at whatever they want to get better at.
Yeah, I think it's great that so early on, when coaching was just start to gain popularity in the business world, you already sense that professional coaching techniques and the coaching methods used within organizations are not exactly the same. given the different context, different scenario?
There's clearly a place for it, because professional coaching, where if you're acting as my coach, Effie, you might be a subject matter expert. You could have great expertise in some area. And if it was like contract law, then I would come to you because I'm a contract administrator. I want to get better at doing contracts. And so you could coach me on the specifics and the technologies and the skills on how to be a better contract administrator. We use your subject matter expertise to give me feedback that is very specific to that chosen field. Professional coaches are usually a little bit wide-spanning, right? They can ask great questions about any kind of things that's going on with their client. So it's a coach-client relationship.
Yeah.
You could be paid for, you could be assigned. If you're inside, you could be a human resources professional and be assigned to coach, various department heads. That's fine, because if they want to use the professional coaching approach, it's about learning how to ask great questions that creates insight and passion and enthusiasm for that client. It's an internal coachee colleague of theirs, but they're acting as a client so that they would take action that helps them get better. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
However, the idea is that collegial coaching, which is a different frame, says we work together. It could be peer-to-peer, coaching up to my manager, coaching down to my direct report, up, down, and sideways. It's unidirectional. It can go in any direction. And the point is, we all have a reason and a need to learn how we are perceived and how is my work perceived by somebody else. It could be a customer. It could be someone in my supply chain. It could be someone in my department. It could be my department manager that I report to. Or it could be a direct report of somebody that I have the privilege of leading. Point is, I need to get feedback from people on how what I'm doing is affecting them and affecting their results.
Right.
So if I don't get feedback on how I'm doing and saying things and how it affects you and helps you get results or inhibits you from getting results, then I don't know much of anything at all. I get to make it up. I get to live in oblivion. I will never know what you think unless I ask you and have a relationship that's open and safe so you can actually tell me. There's the trick.
Yeah. And, I've been working as an external coach for almost 15 years now. In our coaching sessions, it's the leaders, my coachees, who take the lead. They decide what they want to focus on, and they set the coaching goals. But inside organizations, it's a different story, different scenario, different context. Managers are usually the one who start coaching conversations because they need to share their observation from working with their team members.
Yeah, and of course, what you talk about is whatever either party, either the person acting as the coach or the person acting as the coachee, because that can change to the next conversation. If you and I were colleagues, I may initiate the first conversation about, how we're working together, taking care of this rush order we've got today. And in 2 weeks or 2 days or 2 hours, you may come to me and say, hey, Tom, I want to talk to you about yada, 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 whatever your subject is, whatever you've noticed, whatever you've got concerns about. And you get to name the topic.
Right.
So with ideas, we get to work at how we're behaving, how we're working together, how we're collaborating or not, how we're speaking up, how we're communicating. That's a key aspect of all of this. How effective is our communications? So we share back and forth how what you do and say affects me and vice versa. And then we come up with anything we can do to make our relationship better so that through those enhanced relationships, we can get enhanced results.
Yeah. Yes. That's why I put collegial coach on the book title in Taiwan and in China. I always appreciate that in THOC, you provide a very clear structure that the leaders can learn from. The structure is very important for organizations' leaders. I always feel that THOC, the roadmap, kind of combine the head and the heart together.
Mm-hmm.
And I seldom see other tool that talk about relationship. How did you come up with, how did you do that to, put lots of heart there?
Yeah, thank you. There are a couple of things that are relevant to the way I thought about that. The company I used to work for, the Culture Change Workshops, said that we went from our beliefs to our behaviors to our results. Well, what was missing was it's my beliefs, how I think, my behaviors, what I say and do, the relationships that I have, because I get work done through people, don't you? Yeah. Everybody gets work done through people. You're part of a team. So relationships was missing from that model. And then the results are what comes through the relationship. So what I did is I created, rather than a cone, a top-down cone, I said, no, this is a cycle. And that I can put that up on the screen. There's the results cycle. You know what that is. But what it does, it says there is a definitive connective relationship between how I think, what I say and do, the impact I have on colleagues and teammates, anybody that I work with that's a human being, customers, supply chain, you name it. And through all those relationships and the basis of them being good and effective and productive, I get good results. If I've got crappy relationships, guess what? I get crappy results because people don't want to work with me. They don't give me their discretionary energy. They are willing to hang me out to dry, let me waffle in the wind because they're not going to come to my defense if they don't like me. So the idea is you have to have relationships. So the results cycle was born, and it's a cause and effect cycle, and it goes on and on and on and on. So that's the way that piece got developed.
Right. And it's amazing that when we see the elements of the THOC roadmap, if we see those elements individually,
yes,
you feel that it's simple and it's not that deep. But when we put them together in a 2-day learning, in a 2-day workshop, it becomes very powerful.
Yeah.
Do you feel that way? I always feel that it's amazing, and I don't know why it's so different from the day 1 to day 2. What do you think that's made us so emotional and
Well, I appreciate the question. As I looked at all the other coaching models that were out there, professional coaching, athletic coaching, education coaching. I mean, coaching was around, 30 years ago in a lot of places. So I didn't invent it for sure. The idea is if you pull together all the key things that make it powerful, make it effective, they're those things that affect how we relate, the nature of our relationship. So to the extent that this coaching roadmap, which is a guide, it's not a checklist. You don't do item 1, then do item 2. Whoops, I can't do item 4 unless I do item 3. That's crazy. That'd be way overkill. There's like maybe 14 or 15 key elements there, but they're all put together. I consider myself a curator or a synthesizer of the great things I think that people who work together need to be able to do. You could be my manager, I could be your manager, we could be peers. It doesn't make any difference. I still need the same set of people skills. So the reason the heart comes in here is that you encourage the very best of people who work together, who have a common vision, where we're trying to go. They want to be helpful, they want to contribute, they want to be fairly treated, they want to produce, they want to be successful. If you get the heart involved and people give you their heart, it's because the leaders are giving them their heart. They're open, they're grateful, they're glad people are there. They have an open-hearted communication. They don't protect and defend themselves and accuse people and criticize people and beat people up. Some of those things are done, even to this day, because that's a manager who's uninformed. That's a manager who's acting like a caveman. We graduate and become more compassionate, more sensitive, and more aware, we're able to treat people with dignity. And when we do that, the world opens up to us.
Yeah.
And I think those elements in that roadmap are about having open-hearted conversations, being sensitive, being empathetic, being considerate. I mean, we were talking about before the podcast started, where does the vision for success come from? Well, if the coach, the person acting as the coach, can ask the person acting as the coachee, because it can change from conversation to conversation, which role you're in, you ask the coachee, what's success look like for you? That involves them. It doesn't. It encourages them to really contribute their best thinking and be part of the solution, as opposed to, I'm the boss, just go do X. Well, they'll go do X, maybe, or they'll attempt to do X, but they're not really committed. They're not enthusiastic. They're just trying to get the boss off their back. And those days don't get us the high performance and the engagement and the enjoyment we can have from work.
Yeah. I also want to mention that many managers who attend our 2-day workshop come in with a learning mindset, focusing on how they can become better at coaching their teams. However, as they go through the workshop and practice different techniques, they gradually realize that, through our exercise and discussions, they realize that they first need to make adjustment, need to change within themselves in order to better influence others in a way. So the entire process feel like they are being coached themselves.
Been quite so clear is, as you spoke, Effie, it's about learning skills, yes. Mm-hmm. Coaching skills, people want to get trained and what coaching skills are so I can do the skill, do the behavior. It's at least as much about the coach's heart. Mm. So do you walk out of a workshop having changed your heart? If you do, the skills will follow easily.
Yeah.
You just hammer new skills and practice new skills, great, but you don't change the way you think about people. You don't change your gratefulness to be part of this team. You don't change the compassion you feel for your fellow workers. Your heart didn't change. Your skills really aren't going to get much better. They're going to kind of stay the same they were. Or you'll just try something once, say, that didn't work, and they give it up. But if they shift their heart, work on themselves, be more open to how they develop themselves as a human being and a leader and a team member, now we're talking transformation.
So Tom, you have been, before your retirement, you have been using THOC for about 30 years now. Yeah. And when I share THOC with others, some people are particularly interested in we call successful stories. Of course, I understand that the definition of success, varies. Even we use the same program, it's also depending on the people, how they do it. Still, do you have any, particularly memorable good stories that you can share with us?
Well, I appreciate your asking. Just as I finished the last thing I said about changing your heart, it occurred to me the name of the book was The Heart of Coaching. It's like, oh, wow, yeah. So to work on your heart, I suppose that's something that even as I did workshops all those years before I retired, I probably spent a little less time on heart than I should have. Because I really believe if you can help somebody begin to see themselves differently, shift their heart, their perceptions, and become more open and become more creative, more playful, more forgiving, everything else will shift too. So, to your question about what was your question?
The coaching, the successful story.
Success stories, yeah. So what I did was, after working with the Art of Coaching for 20-some years, I wrote a follow-on book, which one it is, it's called The Rise of the Coachable Leader.
Yeah.
And so this was a book, it's thinner than the other book, The Art of Coaching, but what it did, it captured 7 executive success stories of developing a true coaching culture. I went back to some of the larger, more visible coaching organizations that we'd done work with the Art of Coaching. And what we ended up doing was documenting on about 4 pages in each of these chapters here, the documents, the kind of results the CEO thinks they received. There were banks, there were social service organizations, there was a food products manufacturer, there was a wood products manufacturer. So all kinds of different companies that we'd worked with over the years. A lot of this, the essence of these stories is on my website, and you can refer people to read about them. The one I'll call to your attention right now would be probably Department of Social Services in Missouri. The whole state of Missouri has a statewide agency of around 4,000 people. And those 4,000 people serve the underserved in society. People who've fallen on hard times, they could be unemployed, they could be out of work, they could have drug problems, they could have marital problems, they could be unhoused, they could be living on the streets. People that really need desperately social services to help them get back up on top and get their life back. Well, this organization, DSS, Department of Social Services, I started with the Department of Youth Services, certified a handful of trainers inside their organization that they started going and doing their own coaching workshop within Department of Youth Services. They loved it so much, it had such an impact in terms of opening up communications and building teamwork, getting people feeling like they actually love to come to work again, that it spread to their parent organization, which was DSS. Well, the cool part about that, it's kind of a business example, but the person that was the general manager of the Department of Social Services statewide, over 4,000 people, said, we need this across the whole organization. So what they did is they bought materials, certified more internal facilitators, and they started delivering the Art of Coaching across the entire state. So they went to all 4 corners of the state of Missouri. They had regional meetings. They ended up having, over about 4 years, they got all 4,000 people through the 2-day coaching process.
Wow.
It's a big commitment, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's because the person who was the leader for that said, this coaching process helps open up people's communications. And if you open up communications, what doesn't get better?
Yes. And Tom is very inspirational. And, recently we have a couple certification, a TTF, and we always have some NPO leaders came to us for the certification, or maybe sometimes 2-day workshop. I think they are very interested to know this story.
Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
So you can point your people on the podcast to the page on my website that's got references.
Yeah.
And if they scroll down, you'll see success stories from the rise of the coachable leader, because that was what happened. People who were in a leadership role, they realized that they needed to become coachable, really open to receiving feedback, and go ask for it.
Yeah.
That made a difference.
Right.
And when they became coachable, then a coaching culture can truly grow.
I will definitely put the Amazon link for the Rise of the Coaching Leaders, the book.
From Amazon, it's available there. And on my website, you can see basically the essence of these success stories.
That also motivate me to do something about this book. This book, we didn't translate into Chinese yet. I say yet. What does that mean? Okay.
That means maybe in the future is what that means.
I'm not sure. Okay. But yeah, it's something we can talk about. Yeah. So Tom, before we wrap up today's interview, do you have any advice or life wisdom you'd like to share with us, with coach friend, with our audience?
Well, you know what? Here is a poem I'm going to read to you. Some people may have heard of it before. I don't know it. I'm not sure where it all came from. It's written by a person called Anonymous. Here's the poem, and then I'll read my sequel to it. So it goes like this. For the want of a nail, the shoe was lost. We're talking about a nail and a horseshoe. So for the want of a nail, the horseshoe was lost. For the want of a shoe, the horse was lost. Because horses have to have horseshoes, right? For the want of a horse, the rider was lost. For want of a rider, the battle was lost. All for the want of a nail. So you can see the obvious connections there and lessons. So what I did is I made this about feedback. I said, for the want of feedback, residue accumulated between people. Because residue built up, trust was lost. For the want of trust, working together became difficult. Since working together became tedious, decisions were avoided. For the want of making decisions, the business failed, all for the want of feedback. So I'll send that to you, maybe post it on your website, but it really captures the essence of why I think collegial coaching, giving and receiving feedback, and of course responding to it, is so critical. If we can't learn to do that inside our organizations, they're never going to be as good as they might be. Capture some of the essence of how important feedback is to working relationships.
Yeah. Thank you, Sherry.
Oh, yeah. You're welcome. You're welcome.
Yeah. And I hope that maybe every season or every 2 months, we can, have the interview with you or do something together.
I'd be happy to do that. It's easy to do. It's just, sitting here in my my office and having a conversation with you. So I'm glad to do that anytime, Effie. You're a wonderful person. You do great work. And I'm so glad you're part of the THOC team.
Thank you. And as I mentioned in the email, I want to, introduce you as the father of the THOC.
I guess that's what happens when you write a book. You become a father, right? Or a mother.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you for being with us today.
Good to be with you, Effie.
Thank you.